Officials here? No. Do we have any city officials here? No. We do have our state representative here. Don Leahy has come. God bless. This is where Agenda 20 begins, people, at the local level. That's why I'm glad you're all here. Tonight's meeting is on Agenda 21. And most people here are probably familiar with it, but briefly, smart growth, smart meters, sustainable development, we've all heard it, but do you really know what it means? You're going to find out tonight. This is the most massive wealth distribution this country has ever seen. For those who think it's a conspiracy, Google it. Google I'm going to explain briefly the simplest way to figure it out. You take a glass of milk, being America. You take a glass of water, being third world countries. Now get an empty pitcher and pour half of each into the milk pitcher. What do you have in the pitcher? Watered down milk. This isn't about making the poor countries richer. Haiti is a perfect example of that. This is about making America come down to their level. And they're coming at us full strength. And with that, I can understand why most of our county and city officials aren't here tonight. So.
All right. I think it's important, first off, to give a definition of Agenda 21. Agenda 21 is a 1,000-plus page document that came out of the Rio conference, which I'll discuss a few minutes from now. And there are people who wrote this thing said this document is binding upon all living things on the planet. Bottom line, okay? And if you are living, then you're their target, okay? And the term sustainability, that's the buzzword that they use. The thrust of Agenda 21 is to transform traditional individual property rights into collective property rights. Agenda 21 is based upon the premise that government planning should replace the Western understanding of private stewardship. That's the bottom line. Now, most of us in this room, I think all of us in this room, believe that we should have clean air and clean water, a clean environment. I think we would like that for our children, for our grandchildren, and for ourselves. I think the best way to do it, though, isn't through federal or international mandates. It's through this thing called private property or free market. We can point this out by looking at countries that have no private property, and you see their environmental disasters. Okay, this map came out of the Biodiversity Treaty, which was hatched at Rio. And it's all over the internet, and it's in some of the booklets and things that we have available here. David Foreman wrote this map. David Foreman had been a Goldwater boy. You know, a good conservative Republican, right? But somewhere along the line he jumped ship. I guess the guy has some serious problems. He thinks that humans are a plague upon the world. He has not volunteered himself to be removed from the earth, by the way. And Dr. Michael Kaufman found this and was able to use this to convince the Senate not to pass the Biodiversity Treaty. It almost went through back in the mid-90s. Now, will you see the red? These are the hands-off, deep ecology, no human activity, unless you're Al Gore or part of his entourage, right? The yellow are highly regulated buffer zones. And will you see the black? These would be the tightly, you can't really see too good on this map, but little spots of black. These would be the highly densely populated, tightly controlled urban communities. Now, Agenda 21 means 100 years. It's not going to happen in one election cycle. Okay, so it's a long-term project. And so when you see this, this is never going to happen. Some people say, yes, we've seen this already. Conservation easements, right? National heritage corridors, right? And so this is all part of it. Agenda 21, they want to rezone, and they go starting at towns and counties. It's not like the head of the UN is saying this must be done or we're going to send the army in. Oh no, it's all being done locally. And why is that? Like I said, you get 2,000 NGOs that have been propagandizing about the UN for a year, for 2 generations. In the wake of the aftermath of this Rio conference, there was about 170. I hope you both all 3 of them, because all 3 of them are to blame. There were about 177 so-called leaders that signed Agenda 21. This was, as I said earlier, a 1,000-plus page document. George Bush, Daddy Bush here, the conservative Republican that some of us may have voted for, right? No new taxes. By the way, do you remember that famous speech he made?
Read my lips?
He said that one, but he said one that was probably even more insidious. There was a joint session of Congress when he was announcing Operation Desert Storm, and he said, a new world order, and a UN is envisioned by its founders. He was a Yale boy, a lot smarter than I am. He flew jet planes and everything else. You think he knew who was heading the UN? You think he read the UN Charter? I would think so. But that's his mindset. Anyway, he signed it. He said, our government will adopt these policies. Bill Clinton, any boos for him? 2 terms, right? In 1993, he established the Presidential Office of Sustainability. Okay? And by the way, he hired one person that was advisor, was a non-government official. Anybody know who that was? You remember his name was Ken, what's that, the Texas... No. Oh, boy. Ken Lake, yeah, thank you. Yeah, the environmental group that went, Enron, that went bankrupt. There's lots and lots of money involved in this green stuff. People are becoming filthy rich on this Agenda 21. And yeah, Ken Lake, thank you. Yeah, a little mental block here. Oh, how about Obama? Well, Obama's a committed globalist. That's why he's president. He's not there because he's some poor boy from the inner cities that made good, right? That's not why he's there. He's doing the bidding of the New World Order folks. And this past summer, he established the White House Office on Rural Councils. Sounds pretty innocuous, right? What's that about? To implement Agenda 21 in the rural areas, going around state governments, even Congress. And the goal is to get restrictions on the farms, drive people off the land, and get them into these document packets, right? All right, now one of the advisors, this is a very important individual, because some of the people say, how come we don't see that term Agenda 21 anymore? This is the answer. J. Gary Lawrence was one of the original advisors of the Presidential Office of Sustainability. He's still very much involved. He lives up in the northwest part of the country, I think Washington State, pushing Agenda 21. He spoke to a group in England. This is a worldwide issue, not just here in the United States. In 1996, and this quote is in the booklet that's in this little packet that we have. Participating in a UN-advocated planning process. By the way, he was speaking in front of supporters of the agenda, not a mixed crowd here. Would very likely bring out many of the conspiracy-fixated groups and individuals in our society. Gee, I wonder why. This segment of our society who fear one world government and a UN invasion of the United States through which our individual freedom would be stripped away would actively work to defeat any elected official who joined the conspiracy. His own words. So let's call our processes something else, such as comprehensive planning, growth management, or smart growth. We've all heard of those terms before we hear of Agenda 21. In other words, he's saying, let's lie to people and let's deceive them. Okay? And I think it's important to point out, too, we don't have to worry about a UN invasion, guys with blue helmets coming in with Uzis. It's people in our own towns and cities, our elected officials, that are bringing it in. Okay, how is Agenda 21 being promoted? Well, one of the things is ICLEI, I-C-L-E-I, the International Council on Local Environmental Initiative. There's over 600 towns and cities and counties in the United States that belong to it. And let me tell you about ICLEI. Let me tell you about ICLEI and I'll tell you why we need to get out of ICLEI. ICLEI's leadership. This is the General Secretary, Conrad Otto Zimmerman. We all know who he is, right? Yeah, no, of course not. If your city or town belongs to ICLEI, you probably don't even know it. As a matter of fact, I've been to about 50 of these towns and asked people on the street with my video camera, and they have no idea. Why is ICLEI membership bad? On more than one occasion. ICLEI is not an NGO. ICLEI is a government organization, a government-to-government organization. Okay? And it is a violation of the Constitution that every mayor, county official, town official has to swear to uphold. In Article 1, Section 10, no state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation. This is a confederation, folks. If the state of Indianapolis cannot become part of the European Union or part of Italy, well, neither can its subdivisions, its political subdivisions, right? Also, Article 4, Section 4 says that every state is guaranteed a Republican form of government. You cannot have a Republican form of government and be part of Italy. That's the bottom line. So it is a violation of the Constitution in at least 2 places, maybe more. I'm sure there might be some legal scholars here. By the way, Agenda 21 isn't just about your land. Okay, I said spiritual, also educational. They are pushing this in our public schools and private schools. Local membership in Italy, I said, is about 600 plus towns and cities. In Indiana, you only have about 4 or 5. And I was told that Fort Wayne has since rescinded its membership, which needs a nice little round of applause, right? It's important to point out that you don't have to be a member of Italy to push Agenda 21. You probably go to your town website, your county website, and look for things like sustainability. They're hiring sustainable officers all over the country. Cities, towns, counties are hiring these people. And they're not people just off the street looking for a job. They're hardcore environmental activists. Providence, Rhode Island just hired a full-time Wellesley, Massachusetts, and on and on. And the money's coming from the bailout money, the Obama bailout money. The Obama bucks, okay? Now I went to I did a little research here to look up, because coming in Indiana, I've been speaking about, this might be my 10th state. You have something called Sustainable Indiana. So check that out. It's on the web. Actually, I just took a picture of my computer. That's where I got that from. See what they're up to. See what they're doing, because these are the folks you got to oppose. This is a private corporation. They're probably pushing the benefit corporation in the state right now. So I would definitely check out and see what these folks are up to. Now Bloomington, which is south of Indianapolis, right? Once you see their website, it doesn't say UN plot, take over the world, kill all the Christians. No, it doesn't say that. They're not going to say that. But you'll see sustainable city. They have, and when they become a sustainable city, they set up guidelines, and I'll talk about the kind of things they do. But they got all kinds of things to make life nice and happy for you. Now, Lionel and I were at a baseball game. We were forced to go to a part of the job. We had to check out the baseball game. Indianapolis Indians, right? And there was a table at the ballpark, and the nice young lady was passing on these little booklets, Air Schmear, designed for very young people. And I asked this lady if she has ever heard of Agenda 21. She said no. And I think did I have one of these on me? I had something. Did I give her something? I thought I always carry ammunition with me, because you never know you have a chance to. But look at where it came from. The Indianapolis Office of Sustainability. So right here in the heartland of America, you have it. Full blown. You can go to a GBS website. You go to where it says issues, you drop down. There's a how-to manual, how to get rid of Agenda 21. It's a 14-page download. Has all the great suggestions and ideas. There's a petition you can download. And as I said earlier, I have a lot of resources. If you want to get my contact information, I'll be happy to share with you and help you out as much as we can. Okay, so I have 5 important reasons why we must get out of Agenda 21. They're called children. And I'm convinced that our children will be the ones that will lead us back into the Constitution, because our generation isn't quite ready for it. But this generation will be. And if they're not, the other option is that they will be living in a third world country. But I'm very optimistic. And look at this little gal here. And by the way, people, you brainwash your children. Oh, no, we don't. We don't put them in public schools. The Bible says, train up your child right, and they'll never depart, you see. So, and they have minds of their own. They can accept or reject. But this is what I'm pointing is truth here. So, with that, I want to thank you all. God bless you. Thank you for inviting me to your great group, and I hope to come back sometime down the road. Thank you.